Four-wheelers in the Indian market is still seen as luxury, and when it comes to luxury, the term comfort is of prime importance. And when you think of comfort, there is one car manufacturer that have aced it. Yes, we are talking about Citroen, and they entered the Indian market back in the year 2021 with the introduction of the C5 Aircross. 18 months after that, they have come up with a facelifted model in the year 2022, and we are a little bit late on introducing this car to you folks, but there is some importance that I would like to highlight about this SUV. Hello and welcome to Toy Spark. This is Bharadwaj and that is the 2022 C5 Aircross, and today we are going to check out what this SUV is all about apart from the comfort. Before I talk about what are the changes on this facelifted SUV, let me tell you a little bit about the car itself. It continues to arrive as a CKD unit and is assembled in India, and also it is now available as a single trim option as opposed to the two trim option that were available on the pre-facelift model. On that note, the prices for the top end spec model have been increased by around 2.5 lakh when it was introduced. So the on-road price of this car retails at around 45 lakh depending on where you live in India. That is about it in terms of highlights for this car. And moving on to the changes, what you see here is a all new front end. First of all, starting with the logo, it has become a lot bigger and the grille is all new. Now you get these chrome studded highlights that I think is simulating a gear, because Chevron is a gear that is based on the logo. That is what the logo is based on, and you get to see an all new headlamp which is now combined as opposed to the split one which was available earlier, and you get these accents here as well. Down below, the bumper is also reworked completely. You get a new grille and also a radar module for a couple of active safety features, and also there is a proper air vent to channel air onto the disc brakes, and finally there are some fog lamps down below as well. So those are all the changes that are there when it comes to the front of the car. Now moving to the side of the car, the only change that you can spot is the all new 18-inch dual tone alloy wheels. The size remains the same, but the design is all new. It's now got that diamond cut finish, but everything else including the air pocket and also the overall silhouette of the car remains the same. It gets a very good SUV stance. Coming to the rear of the car, the tail lamp silhouette although remains the same, the internals of it have been changed. You get a new LED lighting inside the tail lamp, but the badging, everything else, even the bumper also remains the same. It gets that for dual exhaust tips, and even the boot is again electronically operated, and it opens up to reveal 580 liters of boot space. Even I can fit in that. We have also tried that, and you get 3 separate seating which can be controlled individually from the inside. So it has got a very large and practical boot space. Now it is time to enter inside, and let me tell you what are the changes that have been made on the inside. So at the start of the video, I mentioned about comfort being of prime importance, and sitting inside, that is evidently seen. Especially in the rear seat, these 3 are individual seats that you can recline, and also you can adjust in terms of the legroom that you want to take up for. To recline, you have a tag that is present right here. You pull on it and you can recline it fully. So this is at its fullest reclining position, and what the seat that you see here, you can just pull on the tab here and move it backward so that these are all in a line, and you also get a adjustable headrest as well for increased comfort. The seats themselves are based out of memory foam, and they feature different kind of upholstery on this facelifted model. For longer journeys, definitely these seats are a welcoming addition for this car. Paired with the very comfortable suspension, you can travel long distances without any hassle. But larger chaps like me sitting at the seat will find it a little bit difficult because of the position where the under thigh support and the seat cuts off. Perhaps the bent seat would have been a proper option for largely built people, but with correct body size, I think you can fit in it and be at comfort. You also get AC vents and couple of other amenities as well, and this large sunroof which will make you feel very airy. And apart from that, the only thing that I feel is missing is the center armrest. While we are traveling in 4, a center armrest would have been a good thing to have on this car, this being a premium SUV. Now let's go at the front, and there are some more changes that have happened. Let me tell you what those are. So what you're seeing here, everything on the center console is changed. It now gets a floating 10-inch infotainment system, a couple of soft touch buttons and hard buttons here as well for various functions. The center console is also new. There was a gear lever earlier on the pre-facelift model. Now it is replaced with a toggle switch, which looks very cool, and there is also a drive mode button right here. However, this being a left-hand driven car, initially for foreign markets, the starter button is almost near to the co-passenger and not to the driver, which is a quirk in itself. The cabin is very much practical. You get soft touch materials, and it looks very modern and very French design. But there is a use of hard plastics all around the cabin as well, even on door a little bit. So for this price, I would have expected a bit more soft touch materials all across the cabin. With that, also there are no USB Type-C ports, but there is a wireless charger on this car, and also the infotainment system gets a wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay, but the whole UI and UX experience of this needs to be better. It is slow to respond at times, and also to control the temperature on this is a 2-step process. You will have to initially go touch on this button and then fiddle around with the screen to adjust the temperature. This feature being most used in the car could have been a little better implemented. Otherwise, this car is very practical. You get a lot of storage spaces, you get cup holders here, and you get a very large cool storage space here, and also there is a glove box with a lockable compartment inside, and there are ample amount of storage spaces in the door as well. This car always had a practical cabin. Now it become even more attractive and modern in terms of the new screen implementation and also new graphics that are on the 12.3-inch instrument cluster. But all these could have been a little better. The instrument cluster could have little more layouts and customization options. But that being said, the USP of this car is all about comfort. Now on that note, let us see how this car is to drive. Let's go for a spin. So now we are driving the new Citroen C5 Aircross, and the changes pretty much stop here. Under the hood, it all remains the same mechanically. It continues to get the famed hydraulic progressive suspension that Citroen C5 offered in its pre-facelift version. It continues to get that supple, very comfortable ride that we are so used to, especially when it's a high amplitude bumpy road where the suspension is working at overtime. This works like a charm. On rough gravel road, this glides through and you will not even know that you have gone over the rough patch terrain. Now that is something which amazes me every time. I have said this when I first drove the car, and I continue to share the same feeling even now. It is one of the most beautiful ride that a car offers at this price point, is what I can tell. Good job Citroen there, and that is pretty much the USP of this. But it is not like it is all calm and composed. It also is powered by a very powerful 2-liter diesel engine that is sourced from the Fiat group. So it pushes out 177 horses and 400 Newton meters of torque, which is ample power and torque to propel this car. It is a fast car, but since it's paired to a 8-speed torque converter, when you mash the throttle, it'll take some time to shift down a couple of gears and give you that burst of power when you need. But if you're in the power band and if you are in the sport mode, the things are little quicker. But what I feel is, with the normal mode, if you can modulate your throttle better and stay in the power band, I think even in that, the car responds better with smaller inputs, is what I feel. And also the difference between these three modes like sport, eco and normal which are there, the difference is very less, not much out there. And also the drive mode what is placed here on the center console can now toggle between different traction modes as well, that is sand, snow and mud. Earlier it used to have a different dial for it, but right now this is combined, which is a good thing. You can find all those modes at one place in one go with toggling one switch. With that, the ride again remains the same and remains very well. It is a composed car, but I would not say it is a corner car. I would certainly suggest or recommend this car to be driven with finesse, because this car responds to finesse better than aggressive nature because of the theme of this car. And also while traveling at triple digit speeds, you will definitely feel the car is very much planted, and it will give you that confidence that you need to chug miles on this car, especially with these comfortable seats and a proper suspension setup. So if you're traveling long distances, then I would definitely recommend you to try this car and take it on a long drive. So that was our take on the all-new Citroen C5 Aircross. Now, if you think of it, the C5 Aircross rivals the likes of the Hyundai Tucson, the Volkswagen Tiguan, and also to an extent the Volvo XC40. But what got us thinking is, with a price tag of around 45 lakhs, there are a few things that is missing on this car. For example, you don't get a ventilated seat, you don't get a powered co-passenger seat, and you also do not get a center armrest that you would expect from a car that is priced at around 45 lakh on road. But you also think, as I mentioned earlier, comfort is of prime importance for certain customers in India. And especially if you are a customer that does a lot of traveling, you do intercity travels, you have multiple businesses that you need to go around visiting a lot of states, I think there is no better car than the Citroen C5 Aircross, because the ride comfort precedes everything what this car misses out on. If you are looking out for a car that just delivers that much amount of ride comfort and no frills with a lot of power and can chug miles, then the C5 Aircross will be your top choice. On that note, this is Bharadwaj, and that is the magic carpet on wheels.